Yeah! Happy Comic Book Day and welcome back, all you four-color funny book aficionados. This is USComics Cast, HQ for all things comic book connected. We are Jon and Charlie Rivera, the co-founders of USComics. Charlie, happy Comic Book Day.
Happy Comic Book Day to you and to everybody listening and watching today. As always, we are brought to you by Bad Mary Band and Sergeant Finesse Gaming. If you haven't done so already, please kapow, zock, and bam that like and or follow button and hit that comment section like you just escaped Arkham Asylum.
Let us give the requisite moment of silence to what Charlie just alluded. So we are here. We're just coming off of a very fun episode, kind of drying off from Talokan and Wakanda's fisticuffs. But this we're going to bring it down a little bit. I just want to jump right into it, Charlie. Charlie and I both, for those of you who are missing the video component of this show, we're both dressed in black because the comic book world has lost an absolute giant. Like, this is a talent. This is just a talent that was like above and beyond. Also, as well as Charlie, I don't know if you felt the way I did. This was one of the cats that I just never thought we'd be having this conversation anytime recently, anytime soon. Speaking, of course, of the untimely passing of Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. There are no others.
There's something about the level of immortality that his career has kind of cemented for him, that there was no distinction for me between Kevin Conroy and the character Batman.
Yeah,
so
because
Batman,
the line wasn't even there. Like, you met Kevin Conroy, you're like, oh shit, it's Batman.
It's Batman, and he's been live action Batman, but of course, most famously, even more famous than his incredibly famous video games, he has been animated as Batman for many for what feels like the entirety of my life. So it didn't even occur to me that he would ever.
Yeah, you don't think of it in those terms. I mean, they can't kill Batman in the comics. Lord knows they tried. There's a Lazarus pit around every corner nowadays. But yeah, so sadly again, more than sad. I can't even think of the word. But Mr. Conroy passed away at Mount Sinai Hospital, right across the river from me in New York City. And I didn't know until show prep what he actually ended up passing from was intestinal cancer. And this was back on November 10th, less than a week from today we're recording. Only 66 years old. And to nobody's surprise, certainly not mine, told nobody that he was even ill. So, this is not intestinal cancer. That's not something that you wake up to.
Yeah.
He was clearly dealing with this for a long time. I had no idea. I don't know if you did.
No, and I, the Kevin Smith wound up putting out an incredibly touching answer to a question from the convenience store.
A ton of people, yeah.
But specifically live in front of an audience, he kind of regaled people with his last bit of communication, which was asking him to come and kind of play one more time and do a fun event at the Smodcast Cinema. And in true, I don't want to call it heroic fashion, but in that way that someone kind of always seemingly puts everyone ahead of them, that sort of person who shows that sort of love, he was like, yeah, I haven't been feeling too great. Let's kick it to 2023, early 2023 we'll do it. And, weeks later he's gone.
I mean, just you just don't think of those terms. Again, this is a cat. He has been playing Batman longer than anybody else in any other form. I mean, 92. For 3 decades, he has been doing what he does. I know for you, like that was your segue, right, into the world of Batman, the animated
Oh,
series.
legitimately, I disliked Batman because of his popularity.
Right.
Batman, you have many times kind of coined the phrase, the character of Batman is sometimes a lot like the Yankees. It's not the Yankees' fault. It's the Yankee fans that make them intolerable. I always felt that way with Batman. I was such a Superman mark. But I remember the prime time launch of Batman the Animated Series, and it did more than bridge the gap. Like when you see that, suddenly it recontextualizes as much as the animated series took its some of its visual cues it took from the live action films that in their own way are masterful. Those movies didn't mean anything to me until Kevin Conroy brought Batman to life.
Sure, sure.
And everything about the way he approached that character, every single one of that initial 85 episodes and then on Beyond and all the other adaptations, that was Batman. And if nothing else, the presence that Kevin Conroy was able to project into that animated character ran the full spectrum, was an absolute badass when he had to be a badass, was an absolute compassionate, proper hero when he needed to be a passionate, proper hero. The sort of character that would make you believe every episode. Sometimes playing, 2, 3, 4 versions of what Batman is.
Yeah.
Undercover Batman, Bruce Wayne, Batman
Well,
proper, Batman
yeah.
kind of hanging out. Such
Right,
a dynamic performance
Yeah.
every
I mean,
episode.
but here's the thing too. Like, people, in my opinion, voice acting is acting. I would even take that up a notch, where like voice acting is more difficult, even because it's basically like you're being asked to play a sport, and they start taking some of the sports pieces away from you. Like, go play baseball without a bat. The hell are you gonna do? Bat. That was unintentional, but
That was the mustache.
a glove
The mustache said that.
I was like, say this. That'll be great. Taking away their glove is probably a better analogy. But he went out there and did it like better, arguably better than anyone else has ever done it, or maybe even ever will. So just for a little context, and I had mentioned this to you in the pre-show, there were certain details. Like, I knew that I loved the guy. I knew that I loved professionally what he'd done, and I knew that I loved him. Out in the world. I mean, I have never, and I challenge anybody out there, I have never heard a negative Kevin Conroy story. I just haven't heard, like, oh, one time he was a dick. I have never fucking heard that whatsoever. But there are certain things that came up for me that were very interesting. First and first, mostly, this is a Juilliard trained thespian. This motherfucker, oh, he's a great actor. Yeah, dick, he went to Juilliard. I should hope that he's a tremendous actor. But Charlie, do you know who his roommate was at Juilliard?
Oh no, I don't.
Robin Williams.
No.
The Robin Williams was his roommate while they both attended, or rather, those school days, and but that was his second choice. You know who originally he was going to be roommates with while attending Juilliard?
I don't.
This fact fucking blew my
Pacino.
mind.
I don't know who it could be.
You're not far off. This is one of those little details that came to me. I was like, I have to double and triple check this, because if I regurgitate this and it's wrong, I look like the biggest dick since King Kong swung through the fucking town. Batman, save for a few shekels in his pocket because they were a few years off from each other, he was this close to being roommates with Superman.
No.
Chris fucking Reeve was attending at the same time. They were this close to being roommates. They ended up not being roommates just for financial reasons. I guess Kevin couldn't swing that kind of price point, but they were like very close. And I had no
unbelievable
clue that Batman and Superman, the world's finest, have been rolling deep since basically day fucking one.
I don't want to be this guy, but that's probably good that's good for the lovely ladies of Juilliard, because there would have been a bunch of pregnancies. You can't have Batman and Superman with those voices.
Well, funny that you mentioned that one, because and this is something that I field tested, because look, we're living in a world right now where you can't escape comic book content, right? Superheroes, they're among us. They're everywhere, and they have been for quite a while. So I happen to know for a fact that there are a ton of comic book fans out there who are really fans of the comic book movies and comic book video games and comic book TV shows, and haven't picked up a comic book and read it cover to cover, holding the fucking crease ever so gently so as to not lay in something that's irreparable in a long time, if ever. And let me be the first to say that's fine. That's okay, because ultimately, at the end of the day,
there's no gatekeeping for nerdy shit.
Stories, like, these are just stories. They're intended to, like, that's something to think about. Maybe I should be a better person and also wear my underwear on the outside. That's fine. But like you said, Charlie, that the ladies of Juilliard needed to be careful around our boys. Not one of them. Not one of them. What a lot of people don't know is that Kevin Conroy was a gay man.
Oh, shit. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Now here's
Good
the thing.
for him.
Funny enough.
Do you imagine getting hit on by Batman?
How do you say no? Like, Kevin, I'm not gay, but all right, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But no.
I am the dong. What?
I've been a comic book fan for a long time. I had no idea up until very, very recently. And I feel tested this question because your reaction is typical. It wasn't until like earlier this year when DC put out one of their Pride comics, and Kevin wrote one.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it was like, talking about like experiences and
stuff
like that. How
was that not huge news?
Well, because, at the end of the day, there are certain things that identify us. Like, for whatever reason, the world can't, they can't take like the whole of anybody. Not you, not me, not fucking Kevin Conroy, not anybody. So if they're going to say, okay, well, what's that one thing that we're going to identify this person with? It's not that he was gay. It's not that he had cancer. It's not that he was, great at cons. They're like, no, he was the voice of Batman. That's what we're going to run with. And all these other things just become secondary, which is probably a bigger point, a bigger thing to focus on. Like, motherfucker, none of us are one thing. Like, we are all a fucking hodgepodge. We're like a jambalaya of things. One of his happened to be that he was a gay man, which is just beautiful. I mean, he married a guy and all that jazz. But he wrote this amazing story, and I was luckily able to pull it up because I hadn't picked up that particular issue, and I was like, look at this shit, man. Like, he was a gay guy living in New York City in the 80s, in the height of the HIV AIDS nightmare. And he was saying, like, I was going to all of these funerals, and it was like, it just ripped me up. Like, we need to talk about this. So while he never shied away from, he wasn't closeted or anything like that. He just did everything that he did. He was just that type of guy,
That's incredible. And to say that more than any other aspect of his life was that he was Batman almost sounds condescending. Like, identifying someone by like the thing they did that you liked sometimes is like a shallow, it's not a particularly deep well. However, in the case of Kevin...
Are you just jammed up because people like, this is Charlie, John's brother?
Yeah, a little bit.
I understand that.
A little bit. But honestly,
fair. That's fair.
Kevin Conroy arguably spent more time, hour for hour, being Batman than yeah, it's true. He has spent so much time in the cape and cowl, starting in 92, right? We got 85 episodes. From 92 to 95, he was Batman and Bruce Wayne, and every now and then he was like Robot Batman. He was
you gotta do, bro.
He was his own dad a bunch of times. He was Thomas Wayne on Batman the Animated Series. He was the blimp pilot in On Leather Wings when they weren't sure if that
I
sure
love
that show
that
was
Blimp
going to be.
pilot. He was the
Blimp
man.
Pilot number 2 is arguably the best. But then we have the early video games, Adventures of Batman and Robin, the film Mask of the Phantasm, and then it never friggin' stops, dude. He would every now and then be like, "Yo, okay, I'll do a small role on Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, but you got a Activity Center video game for Batman? I'm your guy. Oh, me and Sub-Zero getting our own direct-to-DVD movie? Oh, what's up? Oh, Batman Beyond, you want me to be slightly older, slightly crankier Bruce Wayne? I'm your guy." New Adventures from 97 to 99. Plenty of video games in that time. Return of the Joker, right to DVD, 2000s. The Zeta Project TV series, Bruce Wayne. Batman Gotham City Racer video game. Batman Vengeance. Batman Beyond, 99 to 2001.
Let me ask you, because you can sit and you can read his resume like it will be here all fucking day. So of that like incredibly lengthy list, unless there was something like a specific project in there that you were driving towards, I'm sorry to read.
No, not at all.
Okay, so of all those projects, right? What was the Charlie fave? Like, what was the one that you like hit? You like, oof! I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm going to file that away for later use because I am definitely going back to that well. Like, what's the one that really hit for you?
So obviously, the easy answer is always Batman the Animated Series. With that being said,
is there like a particular episode where he was like really on point for you?
I'm very boring with the stuff I love. However, it's not Batman the Animated Series that holds my heart. It was Justice League.
Oh, okay.
Him in Justice League with Superman, with Wonder Woman, with Flash, with every goddamn villain. Obviously, there was a lot less of Batman in the show that was about the 75 member deep. But I was too old to be rocking cartoons. And like a creep, I was like sneak watching Justice League and Justice League Unlimited.
Watching cartoons.
You can't help yourself. And what I loved about that was it took a character that was so big and obtuse and gloriously comic booky in Batman the Animated Series, and then plucked him out of the darkness and threw him into the bright, colorful, exaggerated, absurd, wider DC universe, something that they've never been able to replicate with Batman. And it would have been so easy to just stay the same, right? You're the best Batman ever. And they go, "We got a new show for you, and you're Batman. Cash that check. Phone it in." Nope. This Batman was changed by every episode, changed by every relationship. The character depth he was able... Batman the Animated Series is one of the greatest cartoons of all time because it has one of the greatest rogues galleries of all time. And episodes like Heart of Ice has such a... It's majestic in its execution. But Batman was the heartbeat of that show. He didn't get the shine. When he did get the most shine was in Batman Beyond, Justice League Unlimited, and then, of course, the video games, where you got these entire arcs and these entire different sides of them. So for me, you know, as much as Batman the Animated Series, it's iconic, it's beautiful, they painted it on black paper to really give it that depth of field. For me, it's the corny, square-jawed Batman with his ears curving out for some reason, just definitely smashing Wonder Woman. That, to me,
you know, it's funny that you've been mentioning
Conroy at his finest.
Because, you know, Kevin Conroy also, he's a theater guy. Like,
yeah.
He had his turn on Broadway, and he's like, all right, you know what, I kind of done this. Let me head out to Hollywood.
Just real subtle. He's like, I crushed Broadway.
But like,
let me take my cape and cowl to travel.
Wasn't he singing, in Justice League? Didn't he like very famously have like a singing bit on Justice League?
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember if I'm
pretty sure.
Because there was a very famous musical episode in The Batman, I think, which was a series that he was not Batman.
This was Justice League, but we'll fact check me.
Yeah, I'll pull it up now.
I do that. But I personally, I think, and obviously, again, the animated series stands like when you're talking about like best series of all time. You're gonna fucking bandy about Sopranos. You're gonna talk about you're gonna talk about The Wire, and like these are all correct answers. Batman the animated series. Forget about like cartoon. Like this was just one of the best series. Period. Like it stands beyond. But like you, I would not put even that as like the top of the pile for his Batman performances. For me, it's fucking Mask of the Phantasm. Like that level of like depth. Really, I don't think anybody, even myself, who's a not too shabby of a thespian, if I do say so myself, but like the animated series, I mean, they had their fair share of two-parters, but still, like in a two-part thing, you talk about what, maybe 40 minutes. This was a straight movie. This was a in theaters flick. He got to run the gamut. Like you got to see, he showed all his tricks, all his theatrical maneuvering. You saw Bruce Wayne as a very clearly distinct, separate entity from Batman. Yeah, the argument can be made. Well, his neutral, he's Batman. Like he was the first animated guy to do the two different voices.
Yeah.
He just like he did it all. You saw all his everything he got. He laid it all out on the table in Phantasm. Just dynamite.
You were 100% right, period. By the way. Justice League Unlimited. The episode is called "This Little Piggy," 5th episode.
Very nice.
And it's amazing. It also is really what kind of starts the him and Wonder Woman little romance.
Well, you sing to a lady.
Sing in tights.
Whatever. You ain't gonna be wearing tights for long. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What a fucking loss.
I've said it before on the show. There's something about being undeniable.
Yeah.
And Kevin Conroy as Batman has paved the way for die-hard fans. Whenever they're like, there's a new Batman project and it's going to be voiced by, and everyone goes, Kevin, right, motherfucker? We got a Batman voice. We don't need to look. And every single time that they've gone a different direction, they did a prequel basically to the Arkham Asylum games, and they were like, Kevin's not fucking Batman. He could youth up his voice. What the fuck's the matter with you? Mm-hmm. And these other performers, man, they do fine.
Yeah, they're pros.
But I'm one of the people. I sit there and I'm like, he doesn't sound right, because when I read the comic book, like so many people, we no longer hear whatever maybe the whatever lived in our head before we knew better. Right? Because normally the transition from any sort of book to live action, one of the hardest bridges to gap is, well, this doesn't sound, comic books, you have a visual, so it just becomes like, well, this doesn't sound like it did in my mind.
Yeah.
Except Kevin Conroy was one of those talents, no disrespect to any other performer out there that's done Batman or any other character.
Because
Chris Reeve is still Superman vocally in my head, right? Peter Weller, who Ellis pointed out, did a great job with his turn at Batman. Peter Weller's fucking RoboCop in my mind. Another person does it, there's something wrong, right? So even when it's good, it's not.
We were saying Jensen Ackles he's got a turn coming up, and I'm sure he's gonna do perfectly fine.
Sure.
The issue is like none of them are gonna be Kevin. They're just not gonna be.
Will always be Kevin. And what's gonna happen now that we've tragically lost him so early? What's gonna happen is that we're a couple years away from someone being like even better than Kevin, and I'll be there.
Yeah.
To correct them.
I will be there to the live version of the Batman Robin
Kapow!
So yeah.
Zock!
So exactly right. So now one of the things, like even in this kind of like weird place of like that really sucks. You just stomped on my childhood. This is now I know that there's no new projects coming up where I can expect to hear him. Like all of it is, I mean, it's all a fucking downer, man. It's all just an absolute downer. And sometimes you get those reminders. You're like, oh, that hurts again. Fresh pain. So I went to throw on in preparation. I was like, let me throw on some Batman the Animated Series just even to have in the background. And right now on HBO Max, beautifully but painfully, I'm like, all right, episode 1, season 1, episode 1, In Remembrance. I was like, son of a bitch. So they put up like a lovely In Remembrance title card before you even get to the like, you don't even get that far to like hear him speak before your heartstrings are just ripped out and fucking bandied all over the room. But yeah, so again, Charlie and I admitted. I mean, we talk a lot of shit, but Batman's a great character. It's you fucking Batman fans. You're the problem. We love Batman as a character. We more than loved Kevin Conroy's portrayal. He will always, for the both of us, be the voice of Batman, no matter what. And look, we did our best. We love him. We're going to miss him. But truth be told, you're going to get a far more eloquent, well prepared, and more knowledgeable take over on two of our good friends, Mike Staub and Jordan Hugh, on their podcast, Batman-tastic. The podcast, I mean, all they do there is talk about Batman the Animated Series. So I'm positive that they will be doing something very, very in-depth about this just very, very tragic loss. Because that's what it is. Whether you're a huge comic book nerd or just someone who can more casually kind of like tiptoes around the edges, which is understandable, fine. But yeah, that's the US Comics boys. But in any case, Charlie, let's move along. Hopefully talk about something a little bit brighter. Because if anybody says to you, if they look you square in the face and they say, no, Kevin Conroy was not the definitive Batman, they, my friends, just like Ellis, don't listen, just like George Toyboy Lucas, they are a goddamn liar. Why? Because Han shot first. Cheers. Salute for Kevin.
Rest in power, my friend.
Rest in power, kid. That's very appropriate for him.
There is something interesting about when someone is able to fit a role so beautifully. It's sometimes even more exciting when one of us gets a shot. Every now and then, you hear about someone gets cast in a role that they've basically begged for. Not self-entitled assholes like Kelsey Grammer being like, I'm gonna be beast! I'm beast!
Going back a little bit, Kelsey Grammer was also a Juilliard with those motherfuckers. Putting that out there.
He was the one picking up all the fucking trim that Kevin was like, get the fuck out of here. I'll throw a batarang at any place other than your snapper. Every now and then, instead of self-righteous and first of all, Kevin would love that joke. There are people who would like demand and they kick and scream, and then there are people who go out there and they make it fucking clear. They will do it for pennies on the dollar. And sometimes, John, it fucking pays dividends. Sometimes you gotta go through the muck before you get it. Ryan Reynolds is a perfect example. Ryan Reynolds said, please let me be fucking Deadpool. And they're like, guess what, baby? You get to be Deadpool. We're going to sew your mouth shut, give you Baraka arms and laser eyes. And he was like, but I don't want to do it. This sucks. And they were like, well, then you're never playing Deadpool again. And he was like, I guess I'll sell the entirety of my fucking soul, you evil motherfuckers at Fox. Then he had to release his own test footage for the fans to demand that the right thing is done. John, Not everyone needs to travel through those fucking terrible tides. Our boy, Superman, the current reigning, defending Man of Steel, every now and then would remind people while counting his abs. Beep, beep, 1, 2, 9, 7. He would go, guys, I'm a fucking uber nerd. I work out by day, I smash at night, and then I only sleep 4 hours because I like build PCs and shit. Aren't I adorable? He was so vocal about how much he loved the Witcher book series and how much he loved the Witcher games that when Netflix decided we're gonna do it, we're gonna buy this property, they said, Mr. Cavill, baby, you want to take off that cape, throw on a couple double swords and a white wig? And he said, fuck yeah! And then that first season, he started getting those scripts and he was like, does this suck? This isn't who is in my head. I get to be Geralt of Rivia! But this motherfucker sucks. And he had to go to the producers. He had to go to the directors. He's like, guys, this doesn't feel... And he fought the good fight, John. He pulled a Ryan Reynolds. What more can you ask out of a guy with boop, 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 so many fucking abs? And he does it, and they're like, he goes, why is that one army? Why does all their armor look like they're cock and balls? And then he does season 2, and he's like, all right. That's okay. And then he does season 3. And he goes, I fucking... hate this. And then Warner Brothers said, you want to be Superman again? He's like, fucking absolutely. Hey, Netflix, I love ya, but I quit. I'm out.
There was no quiet quitting for my man Kal-El.
That motherfucker finished his job. They were like, and that's a wrap for Henry. And he took his swords and he was like, ha, I'm going to keep these. I'm stealing this shit. Mine now, because nerd.
Go ahead and stop me.
But like, I'm not coming. He hopped on Roach and he fucking rode off into the sunset. I was absolutely... I'm
proud of him, man. I'm proud of him.
I'm proud, but I was heartbroken for me. Because that show, not perfect. It absolutely has a ton of warts. He fucking crushed it every frame. I was heartbroken to hear that he's like, later. But like you said, it's hard not to be impressed. It's hard not to be proud of someone.
No, dude, that's like that's a player fucking move. Now the interesting thing to me was myself, like just my own personal reaction, and I think I'm like most people because the news about his returning to the Cape and the booties, was like it was like 1 and 1A, like, oh, Cavill's back as Superman. Also, as well as he's not going to be in The Witcher anymore. Now you're getting baby Helmsworth. My immediate thought was like, oh shit, I guess he can't do both. He could have. Matter of fact, the Witcher folks, they would have danced like the witch in the woods. That several of them are, but not all have hunchbacks anymore. He absolutely could have done both, but he's like, nah, I'm just not gonna like that. What I thought the story was not the story at all.
Yeah.
The story was simply the short version, as you, from what you eloquently put out there, was that he was not feeling what they were doing, and it wasn't as if he was invested. This was a character that he very much loved. These were stories that he very much loved, and he was like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'm gonna best of luck to everybody. I'll watch, but I'm not gonna do it anymore. And look, that's like the definition of character. Like potentially to your detriment, if you're able to say, nope, I'm going to walk away now.
Do you imagine his agents?
Just say whatever happens.
They're like, but that Netflix money, son.
I mean, they said the same thing when he fucking broke up with Kelly Cuoco too. So that's like, it's not about the decision making processes. If it's right, if it's right. If it ain't right, it ain't. What are you gonna do?
Who told her to go ring shopping? He found out that shit from the paparazzi. He was like, excuse me?
Honestly, I think it was probably the Lego Man haircut. Like, that's like, whoa. Not even that you don't look good. It's like making these decisions all willy-nilly. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can If I can sign off on a feature like that.
Like, I gave you the signal watch. It's like everyone hears it, but like I feel like it's very special. It did get me fucking very paranoid though. Like, this is another time where like the differences in our personality really shine, because you hear this story and you're like, motherfucker didn't even have to quit. He literally put down the swords, and he went as far as being like, hey man, my time's over. Let's welcome my boy. He's gonna do great.
Yeah,
I'm so excited for the team. Like a total fucking gentleman.
Just a class act. He's a class dude.
Pulling a real Superman.
Yeah.
But then, John, I wasn't able to enjoy that shit for a minute, because I immediately had like, whoa, the devil on my shoulder showed up, and it was a mustachioed Henry Cavill. That's how you tell them apart.
Pull that shit out, son. Charlie, you're not thinking of pulling it out right now, are you?
Like, I'm gonna show Henry Cavill my dick. He needs to know. John, I immediately started getting scared about, I'm going to butcher his name, but Mahershala Ali, who's about to play, thank you, he's about to play Blade, fucking maybe. Because there's real Witcher vibes from that first script that apparently was about, like, it was basically that fucking video game I don't like the sequel of, where it's like he's dragging around his future daughter in Vampire Australia. There's something so interesting about cats who are able to say, fuck the money. I signed on because I wanted to play this character. This is what I thought the character was going to be. This is what I thought the situation was going to be. What actor doesn't want to be in the MCU right now? What actor? Literally, you have actors demanding that their old ass get painted blue one more time.
There are actors who are in the MCU who don't even know it. They're like, "Oh, this is a Marvel movie? Oh, I didn't know. All right,
that's fucking dope.
I guess that's cool."
But you know what? I call it fucking shenanigans. Ellis coming to us on Facebook saying it's easy to do when you already have millions. I have not once heard about a person with $1 million that didn't want another $1 million. And the easiest thing for some of these cats to do is put out trash. We see it all the fucking time, and not everyone has supporters like John who'll sit through any Tom Cruise bullshit hoping he gets another Top Gun 2. I get it. The mustache is because you want to be in Top Gun 3. I get it. I see through this fucking bullshit veneer, sir.
Whatever, bro.
John, would you be of high enough character that they sign you? Harrison Ford backs out of Thunderbolts. He goes, too bad, so sad, I can't do it. And they're like, okay, we'll youthen him up.
I can't do it.
We got a whole new...
I can't grow the mustache.
John, we're going to put a little old age makeup on you. We're going to trim down those eyebrows, and you're our new Thunderbolt Ross.
Dude, with those fucking cameras, you're not going to have to put no makeup on. Trust
they
me.
just put the dots on your eyebrows to trim them down. Boop, boop,
oh,
boop,
yeah,
boop,
yeah.
Those little, like your eyebrows of the Hulk. You would be able to read a fucking Thunderbolt script and be like, 1, this is terrible. 2, I quit. I would never be able to do that.
No.
I would be Thunderbolt Ross for the next 70 years.
I think the better question would be, what's a role in any capacity, whether you would portray it, whether you would write it, whether you would film it, pick your poison. What's the role with, like, Charlie, this is now, here you go. This is everything that you wanted, but it's totally wrong, right? Yeah. Like, what would it be? Like, what property would it be that you would hold so sacred that if it's not right, then you walk away from it? And now, don't forget, that shit's still probably going to get made. You know, this is like a Kevin Smith,
my problem.
Wild Wild West Superman situation. Like, there's nothing on the fucking in the playbook of yours. We're like, nope, I'm gonna get that shit done, son.
John, if I got cast to be Oscar Venkman in the new Ghostbusters film,
right?
And then I get a costume fitting. They trim my hair up real nice. They show me the sides where I'm hanging out with Bill fucking Murray all the time. If they then said, this is actually a sequel to Ghostbusters 2016, and you're now whichever of those bitches, You're the new secretary because Hemsworth is out. Give me that orange striped bullshit, bro.
Charlie, they're like, guess what, Charlie? You're the ghost that's in the no ghost sign. Charlie be like,
with a smile. John, I sold my soul for the square bullshit I do for 50 hours a week. You think I won't sell my soul for a flick? What about you?
No,
you got a follow-up?
I'm coming right over the top of the net for you. So Charlie gets his offer letter in the mail. He's like, yes. Charlie Rivera gonna be co-starring, I guess. But I got first billing, the brand new. Holy shit! It's the Ghostbusters. Oh my god! And they've got the year stamp on it. And then you're flipping through. Day one, you got your like high backed director's chair. You're sitting there. You're like, gorilla. Why the fuck? Why the fuck is there a gorilla? There's not even firehouse. Oh my god! Wait a minute. This is the original cartoon Ghostbusters.
No!
With the gorilla catching ghosts, and I think George Papard was in there someplace.
Oh, no!
So now that's the question. Do you follow through with that flick? Yeah. Do you do it, Charlie?
Yeah! Am I the gorilla? Or am I one of the people you get to see the face of?
Oh, no. Charlie starring as the gorilla in the original Ghostbusters. The reason why the real Ghostbusters had to be called the real Ghostbusters. Charlie is starring. See, but not for nothing, Charlie. You can wear a fedora. I feel like you could definitely pull that. You could pull it off. Looking all sassy with your monkey self, just running across the screen. And they used to do like that, like the quick little legs running like, it's not Scooby-Doo, but like it kind of feels like Scooby-Doo.
Did he even rough, talk? Bro. Or am I spending the whole runtime like,
No, you have less lines than I am Groot. Like you are.
Do they make me wear like on set? I have to be humiliated. I'm in like the fucking spandex because they're gonna CGI the gorilla, or do I have the decency of like a hot rubber mask?
You're wearing basically like a knockoff suit from the Umbrella Academy. Like you're number 1.5.
They only give me bananas at fucking lunch and dinner.
Hey,
I'm not a method actor. Oh no! What the last thing I want to talk about before wrapping up my time?
Yes, that's right, Ellis. Ellis brings up a very valid point. It was an original live action black and white show prior to the animated version.
Why the fuck does Ellis know that?
Ellis knows, bro. Ellis knows.
Ellis, I expect art of that gorilla in a new ghost for us to raise money for charity. Get on that shit.
Yeah, that's a patch waiting to happen, dude. Can you put a no ghost fucking patch out there, but it's the gorilla in there? He's like,
yeah, 100% like holding that weird gun thing that they had. Yeah. John, what do you think now? As if nothing else, I respect a performer being able to be like, oh, this sucks. Mm-hmm. I'm out. What about the fans, though, that are like, if it is not Topher Grace as Venom in the next Venom movie, we're not fucking seeing it. I am starting a campaign on the Twitter machine, Topher Grace or we riot. The self-entitled horse shit about this fan casting. Fucking, it's just... I'll bury the lead.
Do it.
Who the fuck do you think you are? You will watch Dwayne Johnson have round-ass ears as Black Adam because you don't have a penny to throw into production. Your only power is see it or don't see it. Either way, I only want to hear your mouth if you like it. I want to be stunned by silence.
I was going to upgrade from a medium to a large, too, but you can forget that now.
There's something so fucking silly to me about people who clamor online. They're like, fuck Rosario Dawson and her perfect tots. We want the voice actor who played Ahsoka to do it in live action, who probably would have done a great job. But who are you? Who are you to demand? You're telling me
settle down.
Telling me who you would have cast as Grogu was better than the character actor they found? That's not a puppet. That's like a little lizard boy. That's perfect casting, John. Favreau raised that baby from birth to put him in his Mandalorian show.
For 50 years, he has been raising that little green globule
That little
baby.
fucker's he's an extra. When they're in that casino losing all their money, he's an extra. Jonathan. Billy Zane as Lex Luthor might be good casting. I mean, I don't fucking know.
It was perfect casting 15 years ago. It was literally perfect casting.
Back when Brendan Fraser would have been Batman? Just like, woo! Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man, there's a lot of perfect casting that's just aesthetic. So I want to know what your feelings are on this nonsense of people being like, this person looks it, this person sounds it, I demand it. Has it ever fucking worked? Has fan demand for a casting ever fucking done more than maybe got him a meeting?
I mean, I think that a lot of that is, it's not just news outlets, it's not just online stores, but it's people can put out clickbait also. So we had made reference a few times regarding Kelsey Grammer putting out there, and it very well might have been clickbait, but it worked for me. Demanding demanding to be playing Beast in the new MCU, like in the current MCU, and I laughed and I laughed. But yeah, it works. It works. Whatever ad they had running under that particular article, it got through my fucking defenses. So the thing about it is, I don't know how much of it is legitimate, like I'm putting this out there, and how much of it is just like fabricated bullshit that takes something in passing, because like almost immediately like, oh yeah, I would do it is not the same as I demand to do it. It's very, very different.
John, we're really lucky because we have a platform, and if we're not going to use this platform for personal gain, I don't know what it's here for. So here I am, ladies and gentlemen. Henry Cavill is back in the tights. I demand to play Lex Luthor's main henchman, Otis.
Hey, Mr. Luthor.
Otisburg.
Hey, just a itty bitty place.
Otisburg, move to the islands, motherfucker. We need representation. Ask John Leguizamo, the clown, who's Puerto Rican. Let's get rid of all these extra whites.
He's gonna he'll let you know. Just don't worry about it. And the funny thing is, he's not even all the way. Oh, what's up, Joker? How you doing, brother?
Otis! John, look at
Charlie,
me.
No roles are given out willy-nilly here. So I'm going to need to audition you, even though I happen to be directing this particular new chapter. So Charlie, I'm going to need you to read the line. The line is, Mr. Luthor, are we going to Addis Ababa? Charlie, please, let's hear your rendition.
Mr. Luthor, are we going to Addis Ababa?
Charlie has just lost the very valuable real estate of Otisburg. Go ahead, wipe that off. We'll go ahead. We will get you into classes right quick. If I'm not mistaken, we can get you right into the Conroy wing at Juilliard. We're gonna get you fixed up. Let's do it. Nice.
Let's do it. But look, what about you, John? You can demand one part. Do you want to replace Gomez Adam, or are you going to do a property in the comic book genre? You get to demand. Here it is.
You know what? I
Thunderbolt Ross, the early years. We'll dye your shit gray, black.
I will never be that guy who complains about people doing one thing on one hand, and then in the same breath turn around and do the same thing myself. No, I ain't doing it. I'm not demanding. When opportunities arise, you grab them by the haunches and you and you give them the business until it is yours, rightfully so. Instead, I would prefer that you tell these good people at that 50-minute mark just how it is that we pay the bills round here. Charlie, tell them something.
Yes. Today we are brought to you by Titan Mattresses. Titan Mattresses are mattresses for big guys. No, we're not doing. Oh, that's right. We don't just shell out to a bunch of companies that charge me $1,000 for a bed, because we are not like other pods who sell out for some
At all.
random brand that's willing to pay. No. Because today we are once again brought to you by one of our absolute favorite bands, and of course is Bad Mary. You heard them during the intro, and you're going to see another Bad Mary music video by popular demand at the end. Wonder where else you can catch their act? You can follow them over at Bad Mary across all social media platforms. You can support them over on patreon.com/Bad Mary. You can stay up to date at badmaryband.com for all of their merch and upcoming events. But my absolute favorite part, John, is their entire discography is available on all music streaming services.
Hell to the yes. Charlie, I have one question for you, though. Where we dropping with Sergeant Finesse? You can find him gaming exclusively on Facebook these days. Multiple streams every day. Outstanding video game content, supporter games, co-streams, giveaways, contests. Don't be a sucker. Check him out today. The Sarge is the real deal, so when he is on deck, you salute. GG's son.
Word.
And
Yetch.
we have been paid with that proverbial word biatch from Charlie.
And yet I can't get a free motherfucking ninja shirt. I had to pay.
Everybody do. Everybody.
It's exclusive though.
Better
That's good.
line right up. Yeah, Joker, if you get the chance, check out the replay at some point, maybe during the week. Drop some comments. We'd love to hear what you thought. I mean, clearly, with your nom de plume, we know you're gonna have some opinions. We opened up the show with Kevin Conroy Talk, so very interested in your thoughts there. But kind of going over to the more in the now. DC has been making big moves, and we talk about Marvel.
And for once,
lot.
they're good moves.
Well, it remains to be seen, but we're very optimistic. So again, we talk about Marvel content here a lot, but there's a good reason for that. Marvel has been doing that thing they do for a very long time now, and now I think for the first time in a long time, DC's kind of like, They're like, hey, don't forget, we are in that race. Even if they're tugging at the tail of that lead horse who is just galloping in the lead, DC's like, hey, we're still here too. When we talk about the indies, what they're doing, a lot of the more interesting comic book paper content is coming from the indies, which is entirely fine. One might argue that's what the indies are for. But there are indie comics, Charlie, and there's the indie mentality. And I'm not talking about Dr. Jones, even though we will be pretty soon.
Dr. James.
All right, we got it. Relax.
Yo, movie.
So what we're talking about, desperately trying to talk about, is the new head of creative over at Detective Comics Cinema. I don't know what the fuck they're calling it nowadays. James Gunn, who has done amazing work at both DC and Marvel at this point, but now he has been given the reins to that horsey trotting down the course over at DC. Now here's the thing. Very often, as we've referenced here before, you'll hear people, I want to do this, I want to do that, this is what you can expect, this is what it's going to look like, and it's very easy to tune that shit out. You're like, whatever, let me just see what you got. Now, James Gunn showed us what he got. Right?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
Peacemaker has been, debatably, I guess, the best thing to come out of DC in a very long time. So he's already kind of like put the cards on the table, like the type of stuff that you can expect if he was left to his own devices. He goes digging deep into the toy box and comes up with some shit. You're like, I haven't seen that toy since fucking Christmas morning, 1987. I don't even remember what he's called. He's like half a robot, half of him is a giraffe. He spins around, he turns into a fucking moving van. I don't care. Do what you gotta do. And then James Gunn turns around and he makes like a fucking blockbuster out of it. He's like, oh, you like that shit? Here comes the limited series 2 to your streaming service. Bomb. So you can say, James, here's the toy. Take the entire toy box. Now tell us what you're going to do with it. He says, you know what, fans? Why don't you tell me what you want me to do with it? Because James Gunn, for all of his positives, for everything that he does so damn masterfully, maybe the thing that he does best, Charlie, is take these two fingers and puts it on the pulse of the people. My man, James Gunn, the Pulse of the People award winner. He's talking about... Now, here's the funny thing, too, and thank God, you mentioned it before, Charlie, thank all the gods above that there ever were and ever will be again, that we have a recorded fucking record of John claims, of John requests. John has been talking not just about one of his favorite fourth wall breaking badass motherfuckers soaring through the time and space characters in Lobo. You have heard me reference Lobo multiple times. Have you not?
The official counter is 143.
You have heard me reference not just my desire for a live action Lobo content, be it series, movie, whatever, but you've also had me fan cast Jason Momoa in the fucking role. Have you not, sir? Can someone testify?
Testified.
Amen, motherfucker. One of the very first things that James Gunn has done has been, teased us so sweetly. He has, tickled the taint. Feels so good. I wish you would. That we are going to be getting, in some shape or form, a Lobo project. And not only that, but that Jason Momoa is going to be involved in some capacity. Look, I don't know what it is.
Could
clearly,
be his voice. Could be his first victim. I don't fucking know.
He's playing Aquaman. This is not going to change anytime soon. But in some capacity, whether this is an animated feature, whether
that's
this
the
is
reveal.
A fucking whatever
Aquaman's
the case
been Lobo the whole time.
Look, it would make
that's
more
why he's
sense.
never looked right.
It would make more sense than what we've gotten so far. With all due respect to Black Manta, sorry, Ellis, I'm sorry. But that all being said, that was one of the very, very first things. But also, as well as, he has teased shit like Batmite, Metal Man. Like, he is putting stuff out there that you're like, well,
but also, so what you're describing, though, that's been fucking missing from DC live action for so
Charlie.
long.
Preach.
You're talking about fun. Holy shit, there's a dude with a modicum of power that's having fun? Twitter is a fucking landmine-covered abyss of death, and this motherfucker just sprinkles Lobo, but he's the salt guy, except it's my fucking heart and joy pulsing out of my chest. Holy shit.
I don't know, how about a little bit of JSA for you? That gonna do a little something for you? How's that? Keep your pants on. Keep your literal pants on.
These pants, get out of here!
And all due respect, because again, James Gunn gets... I'm sitting here now today, until someone tells me different, from Detective Comics. James Gunn is getting 99% of the credit. The other 1% is going to Peter Safran. He does something. I know he does something because
he's an incredible producer. As far as
sure,
nobody
knows
almost no research I've done.
Nobody knows
paid for a couple things.
What a producer. They don't even pay for it because the producer credits are given out willy nilly. You know what producer credits are on movies, Charlie? You know when you walk into Comic-Con and like you've got a giant empty bag, that first fucking piece of swag that somebody gives you, like, hey, you want a free USComics pin? Go ahead and like us on your, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you got it. And then they take that, whatever they just got, and they put it into their giant swag bag. And then they spend 3 smelly days walking around Comic-Con and going to every fucking possible a panel that they can get into, complaining about prices with every artist alley person that they stop by, but you still end up spending way more on stuff than you did on the fucking tickets to begin with. When they go home at the end of that fucking saga and they dump out their fucking swag bag like a kid about to get the highest chocolate high of their little lives, late 8:30 on Halloween, they dump out their bag. That first fucking thing that went in there that is now all crushed and mangled and completely unrecognizable. Charlie, that's a producer credit. Because they give them out all over the place. Nobody knows what they do, what they mean, whatever the case might be. But I'll give him that 1% of credit. That's for you, Peter Safran. Remember me. Remember the mustache. I could do what you need to do.
Oh, now someone wants to be fucking
Yeah, that's right.
cast.
That wasn't even me. That was the mustache saying that. That was the
Fucking
mustache. The
Jimmy
Movember mustache was talking. But Charlie, again, ultimately, all joking aside,
Yeah.
really, for all
That
the
sounds like a fun
fantastic-
podcast.
I mean,
Fuck
all
fun.
the content that James Gunn has given us and the way that he has given it to us is dead on. He puts the fun back in funny books, motherfucker. God bless him. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to let it all go white because I don't give a shit anymore. I'm going to do what I want to do. But really what he wants to do is what we want him to do. He is literally saying, hey, tell me what you want. Let me do what you want. I'm assuming that it's not another 52 Batman movies because the new 52, we already know how that went. I'm assuming that you want some other shit. Let me know. And he's digging deep, bro.
Well, what's really fucking cool about it, and some of the discourse, of course, has gotten like muddled online because it's fucking online. But what's really cool about it is he obviously knows the weird shit he wants to do. Right? No one told James Gunn to bust out Starro. James Gunn said, can I have Starro? And DC was like, who the fuck cares? Shut up. Just shut your mouth, James.
Like, what's a Starro? You guys know? Yeah, no, it's fine. You got it. You got it. Sure.
Like, why does this guy want fucking starfish for dinner? That doesn't sound like a delicious fish.
Aren't they poisonous?
So he knows the weird shit he wants to do. He knows the shit that the money behind DC insists upon, right? So the Trinity is going to be fine. We're never going to go more than 6 months without a new Batman project. They're doing a new Magic Mike 3 Batman dances now, I think is the name of that movie. Oh, that's hot as fuck. I'm back in. I'm going to see my first Magic Merc, sorry. There is, though, the need to reach out to the people and go like, there's like 12 people online saying like yes to Lobo. Anyone want to do Lobo? And then there's 100,000 people that are like, fuck yeah, Lobo. They're like, what if we got Momoa? Fuck yeah, Momoa. What about Batmite? And like less people, but really passionate people are like, you're going to do a Batmite thing? Mm-hmm. Fuck yes, Batmite. And at some point, John, he's going to throw Vibe up. And I'm going to be the lone voice being like, yeah. And he's going to be like, okay, no one wants Vibe. It's you get back here. You get back here. You don't walk away from me. You don't walk away from me.
You know, I hate to admit this out loud. I actually have heard some Vibe rumblings.
Oh, really? It's not, John, those are all me. I have many fake accounts on Twitter, and now they're all verified because I had $7.
Lunch didn't agree with me. I was like, oh, I got some Vibe rumblings. Let me go to the bathroom. That's where it belongs.
But what I love about it, though, is I think that he would also listen to something like, he knows what he wants to use Polka Dot Man for. In this case, Polka Dot Man 2, spoiler alert. He knows that he wants to use Ratcatcher 2. He knows that Peacemaker was able to be a fucking amazing thing. But don't sell him short, because again, I think he will listen to the people, but more importantly, I think he'll enhance and give us shit that we don't know we need. Because Peacemaker, right? No one wanted Peacemaker. We got Peacemaker. Those first few episodes, we're slapping our legs, we're laughing our balls off, we're seeing titties, we're seeing heads explode.
Trying to do the opening dance. You're like, God damn.
Yeah, yeah. By the end of that series, though, bro, what did we see? We saw real emotion. We saw real character development. We cared about Peacemaker. We cared about his crew. I was just gonna say, dude,
please. He gave us characters that we cared about. Doesn't make a difference if they were D-listers before the project started. Now, I would climb over a fucking hill of glass for some of these fucking characters who, like, 2 months prior, I was like, fuck that person that I don't remember their name. I mean, that's what real talented creators will do for you. So people might not know the middlemen going in. They might not know Batmite. Fucking there's goddamn right, Joker stream.
We fought for that one.
Unbelievable. Fucking Clayface, man. Clayface could be one of those characters that is both visually. You don't forget. It's impossible to forget, especially if they do like a Batman the Animated Series fucking origin form. You don't forget the visuals of it, but then also as well as the story is like a heart fucking string pulling motherfucker. Like they pull it out of your chest, they throw it in the backyard, and you forget about it till the dog goes out there and takes a piss on it. Like that's what creators do. They grab the material like this is gonna work.
What I think might be getting lost in translation though, James Gunn isn't Zack Snyder. He's not developing a few movies that tie together that hopefully people will latch on to and take elsewhere. He is in essence taken that Kevin Feige role. So someone like Ellis, who does feel like his films lack sincerity and might be too goofballish, first and first mostly, I would say, Ellis, you should rewatch the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. That is a film that is sincere as fuck. Rewatch Peacemaker. You love John Cena. That story is way deeper than it looks like. And to Joker's stream point, you might be mixing up him and Taika, who up until recently I trusted with a baby. What's cool about someone like James Gunn, though, is he thinks
you Gore the God Butcher?
Spoiler
alert! He gives away his kid.
He thinks in ways that are so layered. He can think about how to sell shit. He can think about how to present shit. He can think how to make the goofy sincere, the sincere goofy.
Yeah,
and
those
find
moments.
That fucking in between.
I mean,
with
Marvel's been doing it like they've made a fucking decade out of like those goofy moments. Like, all right, here's a little tee-hee-hee for you. Now back to the action. But yeah, no, just to get back to my original point, it's comparisons, right? So, if you don't like cheeseburgers, be like, I fucking love McDonald's. Go have the fucking chicken nuggies, son, because what's his face, Walter Hamada, he clearly had a vision.
Yeah.
Right, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. Personally, I happen to disagree with it. I couldn't
see it. It was so fucking dark.
But yeah, valid point. But like he had a take. Yeah. A fucking singer very much had a take. But there are different variations of all that. What Peter Gunn is doing now, they did sit down and they said, all right, let's ham out a 10-year plan. So
finally,
on one hand,
holy fuck,
it's not that DC didn't have that prior. It's that the plan was fucked. It was a bad plan.
Just didn't make sense was the problem
to us, right? Because we're coming from a certain place, and the thing about it is, James Gunn is coming from like a very, very, very similar place. Like a very similar place. So it's as if one of us,
Google gobble.
One of us.
Google
like,
gobble.
This is one of our guys now has the keys to the fucking playground. So it's just very, very exciting to see what he's going to do with it or allow to be done with it.
Let me just play Ellis for a second. And maybe we shouldn't be behind the wheel, but we're finally going to find out. Right? I would risk the next 10 years. I'd roll the dice. as opposed to the no plan that was fucking going on. 10 out of 10 times.
Also, as well as Charlie and, fucking Zapsik and company say it all the time. Fuck the suits.
Fuck
right?
The suits.
Fuck the suits. Because for a very long time, on the DC side specifically, I'm not talking about anything else. Because, honestly, even the indies have gotten more fucking lateral creative room to play. Look at Wanted. Look at the movie fucking Wanted. Is it a direct from the page to the screen adaptation? No, not even remotely close. They didn't even want to take the actors that were drawn into the comics.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we don't want them. Somebody else.
Yeah, sorry, M.
But also, as well as they said, here's a creative fucking thing. So now, if you were not a Wanted comic book devotee like yours truly, and then you saw the fucking movie, like, wait a minute, that's not the same. That's not the same. No, it wasn't. Was it a dope fucking watch? Yes, it was. There was not a single Schwartz swinging around in 300, but the singer get that right? Yes, he did. So you have to let the creatives create, and sometimes that means that there's going to be a deviation from what I would have done is, well, motherfucker, the film school is right on the corner. Your iPhone can produce very, very nice things. You don't even have to go into credit card debt like our boy Kevin Smith to do it. Fucking go do it. Write it. Make it. If not, you just sit back, pay your 20 fucking bucks for the ticket like we all know we're gonna do, and enjoy. How about that? Catch me inside the theater, that is. How about that? Give me a break. Come on.
Catch me inside the theater? Oh, can I cancel
t-shirt.
our show? How does that work? What are the rules? John, I think the future is fucking bright for comic books in the big and small screen. I think we have talent that are standing by their morals.
Passionate talent.
Passionate talent that are not going to allow subpar shit to hold them to roles that they no longer want. And I think we properly celebrated the gift that will live forever, the talent that is, I've said it before, I'll say it again.
Kevin Conroy is now immortal. He will never go away. That's the gift of these recordings. We will always, Batman will never die. Batman will never die. Sadly, Conroy is no longer with us.
Yeah.
But Batman, he's here with us forever. He's going to be generation upon generation upon generations Batman, just like he was for all of us.
Absolutely undeniable. Rest in power. But my dear brother, there is only one way that we end each and every episode of US Comics Cast, and that's just a few simple steps. Because first, you gotta turn the power on. Then you gotta turn that volume up. Then you gotta tune Bad Mary and open up the window wide and scream out into the lightning-filled sky, "Save Miss Space Girl!" We out!
Vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman!
I've had enough of your mortal love, and I'm sick of all your up.